Imagine waking up to howling winds, flooded streets, and waves crashing into your neighborhood. That's the reality right now for millions along the East Coast as a powerful nor'easter barrels northward. This storm isn't just another rainy day. It's bringing dangerous coastal flooding, fierce wind gusts, and travel chaos from the mid-Atlantic all the way to New England. Flights are being delayed, roads are underwater, and emergency crews are performing rescues as the storm intensifies. This isn't hype. This is one of the most impactful early-season nor'easters in recent years, and it's testing the East Coast resilience once again. The storm, known as a nor'easter because of its strong northeast winds, began developing off the mid-Atlantic coast late Sunday and has been gaining strength ever since. As it tracks northward, the system's powerful counterclockwise rotation is pulling in moisture from the Atlantic Ocean, fueling heavy rain bands and powerful gusts. The combination of high tides and persistent onshore flow has already led to widespread coastal flooding in parts of New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland. Forecasters warn that the storm will continue to pound coastal communities through Monday, with several rounds of flooding expected during each high tide cycle. Wind gusts have already topped 60 miles per hour in several locations, knocking down trees and power lines and leaving thousands without electricity. In coastal towns, emergency crews have been working around the clock to rescue stranded drivers and residents trapped by rising floodwaters. Video footage from areas like Atlantic City and Ocean City shows streets turned into rivers, with cars submerged and residents wading through waist-deep water. The National Weather Service has issued coastal flood warnings and high wind advisories across multiple states, urging people to stay indoors and avoid unnecessary travel until conditions improve. Air travel has also taken a major hit. Airports in New York, Philadelphia, and Boston have reported hundreds of delays and cancellations as the storm's heavy rain and strong crosswinds make flying dangerous. Airlines are warning passengers to check their flight status before heading to the airport, as disruptions could continue into Tuesday. Meanwhile, Amtrak has reported delays and temporary service suspensions in certain areas due to debris and water on the tracks. For many travelers, this nor'easter has quickly turned what should have been a regular commute or weekend trip into a logistical nightmare. One of the biggest dangers from this storm isn't just the wind or the rain, it's the coastal flooding. With winds blowing directly from the northeast, the ocean is literally being pushed toward the shore, piling up water along the coastline. This phenomenon, known as storm surge, is causing tides to rise several feet above normal. In some areas, water has reached into neighborhoods multiple times within 24 hours as each high tide rolls in. Residents in low-lying coastal zones have been warned to move vehicles to higher ground and prepare for repeated flooding throughout Monday and into early Tuesday. Meteorologists explain that nor'easters are a common feature during the fall and winter months, but this one stands out for how early and intense it is. Normally, storms of this strength develop later in the season when colder air dominates, but this system is feeding off the lingering warmth of the ocean, which is still above average for mid-October. That extra heat is acting like fuel, helping the storm maintain strength as it moves up the coast. This combination of warm ocean air and strong pressure gradients has created a dynamic setup for heavy rainfall, coastal erosion, and power disruptions. Inland areas are also feeling the storm's impact. Heavy rain has spread far beyond the coastline, soaking cities like Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia. Rivers and streams in some regions are already running high, raising concerns about flash flooding in low-lying neighborhoods. The National Weather Service has urged drivers not to attempt crossing flooded roads, a warning that unfortunately goes unheeded too often during storms like this. Local officials are reminding residents that just 6 inches of moving water can knock someone off their feet, and a foot of water can sweep away most vehicles. Communities hit hardest by previous storms are once again finding themselves on edge. In coastal New Jersey, memories of Hurricane Sandy still linger, and residents are watching closely as the nor'easter chips away at beaches and dunes that have only recently been rebuilt. Emergency shelters have been opened in several towns for those who need to evacuate or seek higher ground. Utility companies are pre-positioning crews to restore power once winds ease. The sense of urgency is clear. People along the coast have seen what these storms can do, and no one wants to underestimate this one. Forecasters expect the nor'easter to gradually move away from the coast by late Tuesday, but lingering showers and gusty winds may continue into midweek. Even after the storm passes, cleanup will take days. Flooded roads will need to be cleared, power lines repaired, and beaches reinforced where erosion has occurred. The early season storm is a reminder that the East Coast's fall weather can turn severe quickly, long before winter begins. Meteorologists stress that preparation is key, from emergency kits to evacuation plans. Because in coastal storms like this, a few inches of rain or a few extra miles per hour of wind can make all the difference. As the storm begins to weaken, one thing remains clear. Nor'easters are a defining part of life along the East Coast. They test infrastructure, challenge first responders, and remind residents of the delicate balance between land and sea. While this storm will eventually pass, its effects will be felt for days, from flooded basements to eroded shorelines. For now, communities are urged to stay alert, follow official updates, and look out for one another. Because when the winds howl and the waves rise, the only way to weather a storm like this is together, with caution, patience, and resilience. In the aftermath of this nor'easter, residents will once again reflect on the power of nature and the importance of preparation. The storm may have moved on, but the cleanup, recovery, and lessons will linger long after the skies clear. Coastal cities will reassess flood defenses, emergency managers will update response plans, and families will repair the damage left behind. Yet through it all, there's one constant: the strength of the people who live along this ever-changing shoreline. From Maine to Maryland, the East Coast has faced storms before, and it will face them again, but always with determination and hope.